A region on edge. The death toll rises as violence escalates between Israel and Hamas. Taiwan's presidential race takes clearer shape as the deadline to announce running mates looms. The Asian Games comes to an end with a stunning closing ceremony. Plus,
these bands are not missing a beat with just hours to go until they take the stage at one of Taiwan's biggest public parades for National Day.
a warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News. I'm Betty Chen. Taiwan's presidential election is just 3 months away, but the names on the ballot have only now become clear. With 4 candidates all but confirmed, talk has turned into running mates and last-minute coalition deals. Stash Butler reports.
Taiwanese billionaire Terry Guo arrives at a campaign office in Taipei that's been gathering signatures to help him get on the presidential ballot. It's the second time the founder of tech giant Foxconn is trying to win top office. He failed to get the biggest opposition party's nomination, but says he's now got enough support to stand as an independent in January's vote.
短短2周的时间就突破了联署门槛，我们会持续的努力，持续加油，再创新高。
Guo would be the 4th candidate in a fractured race. A recent poll by popular political website MyFormosa showed the iPhone manufacturing boss sitting last with just over 6% of respondent support. He lags behind 2 other opposition candidates, Hou You-yi of the Kuomintang and Taiwan People's Party nominee Wen-je. Leading the pack, ruling Democratic Progressive Party candidate and current Vice President Lai Ching-te. Fears of a split opposition vote have pushed the 2 middle contenders to consider running on a joint ticket. But who'll step back and take the vice presidential spot is still unclear, though one of the candidates says they should rely on who's polling higher with the public.
那我的 SOP 就是以民意为基础嘛，既然民主政治是以民意为依归嘛，那当然就是用在现阶段呢，不是正式投票之前，你知道哈，那当然就是以民调为标准嘛。
Talk of running mates has also intensified for ruling party candidate Lai Ching-te. He recently hinted he'll pick Taiwan's current representative in Washington before his office rode the comment back. All things considered, candidates will need to finalize their running mate choices by the end of November. Eason Pan and Stash Butler for TaiwanPlus.
Workers are trying to restore power to all households on Taiwan's outlying Orchid Island, where Typhoon Koinu brought serious damage last week. Over 2,000 homes lost power during the storm. The Taiwan Power Company hopes to have repairs done by late Monday evening. Dozens of boats were also sunk by Koinu, and workers have been trying to refloat them. Extra supplies and repair equipment have been sent to the island. Meanwhile, agriculture officials say the storm caused over $10 million in damage to the country's crops, mostly in central and southern Taiwan. Heavy rain and wind from Typhoon Koinu has brought Hong Kong to a standstill. Flights were cancelled at the airport amid 145 km/h winds. Metro services were also disrupted. Schools and businesses closed, while stock trading was suspended. Local forecasts say the storm is beginning to weaken, but heavy rain and thunderstorms may continue in the next few days. Nauru's President Ross Kun has met with President Tsai Ing-wen. Speaking at the presidential office, Kun reaffirmed his commitment to his country's ties with Taiwan.
Nauru regards Taiwan as keen, standing firmly in our support and laboring hand in hand to advance democracy, freedom, peace, sustainability, stability, economic growth in our region.
The Pacific Island nation is one of 13 countries that still has official diplomatic relations with Taipei. Kun is visiting Taiwan ahead of the country's National Day celebrations on Tuesday. This is his 2nd visit since taking office last year. At their meeting, Tsai thanked Kun for his support at the United Nations General Assembly last month. Nauru was among 11 countries to push for Taiwan's inclusion in the UN. Bring on the marching bands. It's almost showtime for Taiwan's biggest public parade for National Day. Our reporter Joyce Tseng went to catch the last rehearsal before the big performance.
Not even a gloomy day can dampen this parade. With less than a day to go until Taiwan's National Day celebrations, performers for the massive parade are getting in their final run-throughs at Liberty Square in downtown Taipei, starting with the city's own Jianguo High School marching band.
想来看一看，我是第一次来这里看他们的表演。
我以前也是他们学校的一份子，要能够在这边表演，那要付出很大的代价。
那你觉得今天表演是怎么样的？
我觉得都非常精彩。
Music and marching bands are a big part of the fanfare outside the presidential office on National Day, one of the country's biggest public holidays. And though Taiwan only has a handful of official diplomatic allies, in a show of unofficial support, Japan is making a second appearance at the event, this year through Tokyo University of Agriculture's second high school brass band, the Emerald Knights. In an unprecedented show of support, one of the U.S.'s top public universities has sent its own marching band to take part in the event, and that is the University of California, Los Angeles. The West Coast school has a sizable Taiwanese base of current and former students, with some showing up to the rehearsals to show their excitement and school pride.
This is what I grew up with, in college, every single football game. So, yeah, I mean, it makes me want to cry.
We take pride in UCLA being the very first. It means that closer relationship between Taiwan and the U.S., both, I think, academically, friendship-wise, and in various other dimensions.
The Bruin Marching Band, also known as the Solid Gold Sound, have performed for the likes of the Rolling Stones and K-pop sensation BTS. For National Day, they are showcasing their football game staples. With this lineup and a mix of school and national pride, this year's National Day celebration is geared up to be quite the showstopper. Andy Xue and Joyce Tseng for TaiwanPlus.
The Education Ministry has pulled an effort aimed at parents of young children after it received criticism online. The ad shows a woman chiding her son for buying action figures, saying the money should be used on their children instead. That sparked a backlash from collectors who say it trivializes their hobby. Taiwan has one of the world's lowest fertility rates, and the ad was part of a government effort to persuade couples to have more children. But one parents group says the government's focus should be on improving access to childcare.
其实我们长期以来推动说，教育部第一个应该是更加积极去推动所谓的非营利幼儿园，好，因为公立幼儿园会有那个寒暑假以及延托的问题嘛，那非营利幼儿园基本上比较没有。
The Asian Games have wrapped up in the Chinese city of Hangzhou. John Van Therese gives us a look inside the closing ceremony and at Taiwanese athletes' future plans.
After more than 2 weeks of competitions, this year's Asian Games are over. Host city Hangzhou in eastern China has handed over the reins to Nagoya in Japan, the game's next host. As they head home, Taiwan's athletes can feel satisfied. They've won 19 gold medals, the team's best performance at the Games since 1998. They also bagged 20 silver and 28 bronze medals, putting Taiwan, competing under the name Chinese Taipei, 6th on the medal table. Taiwan's biggest winners were its roller skaters, who clinched 7 golds. And just hours before the closing ceremony, Gu Xiaoshuang beat Kazakhstan's Moldir Zhangbirbai to win a gold medal in the women's 15-kilogram Kumite karate event. With the games over, some athletes already have their sights on the next challenge. While others say that now a new path awaits them.
接下来准备退休了，转幕后的教练。
But with the Olympics next year and the Nagoya Asian Games just 2 years after that, none of them is resting on their laurels. John Su and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese wrestler Wang Sihua has won silver at the Sumo World Championships in Tokyo. In her division, this year's top spot was taken by Hungarian athlete Anika Alix. Wang was part of a group of Taiwanese sumo wrestlers competing in the championships. At age 24, she fought in a lightweight under 65-kilogram division. This is her second time joining the amateur event. It's been held since 1992 and began including women in 2001. Still to come on TaiwanPlus News, locals and tourists alike get their hands on the authentic taste of Taiwan as one of Taipei's oldest markets reopens for business.
This month's top hits on TaiwanPlus. Join our live coverage and celebrate freedom and diversity with us. 112th National Day of the Republic of China. A brilliant documentary series on arts and culture takes you behind the scenes of the island's most incredible performances. Masterclass.
We start looking at our own culture, our own food.
Seeking a unique sensory experience? Embark on a culinary journey with renowned chefs. The taste of life. Get ready to be moved by exceptional individuals who perfected their crafts despite challenges. Standing strong. Vibrant and original programs. Exclusively on TaiwanPlus.
Welcome back. You're watching TaiwanPlus News. Israel's military has retaken control of all territories around Gaza 2 days after the Palestinian militant group Hamas launched a coordinated surprise assault on the country. This comes as Israel's defense minister ordered a complete siege of the Gaza Strip after declaring war on Hamas. More than 1,000 people have been killed in fighting between Hamas and the Israeli military. Rick Clara reports on the escalating violence.
For the second night in a row, Israel pounds the Gaza Strip with rockets and airstrikes. This in retaliation for an unprecedented attack on Israel by Hamas, the Palestinian militant group that rules the Gaza Strip, home to more than 2 million people. Hamas conducted its multi-front incursion during a major Jewish holiday.
אחיי ואחיותיי, אנחנו במלחמה על הבית ואנחנו ננצח.
Hamas fighters broke through border fences, seizing Israeli territory, killing civilians and taking hundreds of hostages back to Gaza. Images have emerged online of Hamas gunmen capturing women and children, including this man's wife and daughters.
I want to ask of Hamas, don't hurt them. Don't hurt little children, don't hurt women. If you want me instead, I'm willing to come.
It was the deadliest day in decades for Israel, which has been in conflict since its inception with those fighting for a Palestinian state.
Its policies are an assault on our humanity, on international law, on peace, and are a threat for its own people. Can those supporting Israel ignore its colonialist and racist agenda? That would be self-defeating.
Israel says it is fighting for survival, as its Arab neighbours want to see it exterminated. Israel's Prime Minister warned of a long and protracted war and told those in Gaza to leave, raising the possibility of a ground invasion of the enclave.
כל המקומות שהחמאס מסתתר בהם, פועל מתוכם. נהפוך אותם לאיי חורבות. אני אומר לתושבי עזה, צאו משם עכשיו. כי אנחנו נפעל בכל מקום ובכל העוצמה.
But for the people of Gaza, there is nowhere to go. Israel has put an air, land and sea blockade on the Strip since Hamas came to power 16 years ago. answering a call for support, the armed group Hezbollah attacked Israeli military posts from neighboring Lebanon.
There's a huge amount of sympathy in the Arab world for Palestinians, but the Israelis also have other things on their mind. What I think is going to happen is you're going to have Israelis coming together on the need to both recover hostages that have reportedly been taken, but also to teach Hamas a lesson.
The US, Israel's most important ally, has promised more weapons and is moving its carrier strike group closer to the area, as war in this sensitive region puts the world on edge. In the 2 days since the brazen attacks by Hamas, hundreds of people in both Gaza and Israel have been killed, many of them women and children. That death toll is expected to rise as one of the world's longest-running conflicts enters a dangerous new phase. Alex Chen and Rick Lowett for TaiwanPlus.
High levels of activity at a North Korean rail facility may indicate arms shipments to Russia. That's according to a report by a U.S. think tank. Beyond Parallel, a publication of the Center for Strategic and International Studies, says satellite imagery shows more than 70 rail cars waiting at the North Korea-Russia border. It says this is a huge increase from what it's seen over the past 5 years. It's unclear what's in the cars, but it follows a visit to Russia by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un last month. There, he and Russian President Vladimir Putin were believed to have discussed an arms deal to aid Russia's ongoing invasion of Ukraine. Japan's defense forces plan to redeploy some of their most advanced fighters to the southern island of Kyushu. That's according to a recent defense budget, which suggests that some of Japan's fleet of F-35s will be moved to countries far south in 2024. The F-35 is a fifth-generation stealth fighter. Japanese media says their deployment to Kyushu alongside anti-ship missiles is a reaction to China's intimidation of Taiwan. Kyushu is 1,400 kilometers from Taiwan and just 1,000 kilometers away from the Senkaku Islands. The ownership of this group is disputed between Taiwan, Japan, and China. Musicians in Nigeria are reviving an instrument little seen in Africa in recent years. Jonathan Trieste tells us more.
The streets of Abuja, Nigeria may seem like an unlikely place to hear the stirring sounds of the Scottish Highlands, but there is a tradition of tartan-clad bagpipers here. Some may see the bagpipes as a remnant from the British colonial era, but Chukwu Kalu is someone who's embraced this most Scottish of instruments as their own. The self-taught musician is the founder of the Scottish power pipe band Nigeria, a group that's grown in numbers over the years.
So the prominence of these came in the early 2000s. And since then we've been progressing gradually from 3-man band to 5, 8, 10, up to 24 as we speak right now.
Bagpiping has not been a common sound in Nigeria since the country's independence in 1960, making the sight of pipers marching on the streets a puzzling novelty for some. But those who stop to take a closer look like what they see.
What I like most is their dressing. This dressing. The dressing can just move you. Whatever you are doing, you will just say, let me see what these people are up to.
The Scottish power pipe band Nigeria has now become established enough to book professional gigs at weddings and national events. But its founder wants to go even further and use piping as a force for good in Nigerian society.
We are making our effort to see that young people, especially civilians, who have nothing doing, instead of engaging into crimes, that they should engage themselves into learning this special instrument, because this is a special instrument.
The band hopes one day to visit Scotland's National Piping Centre in Glasgow to better connect with the origins of the instrument. But they're also dedicated to cultivating new roots for the bagpipes in their West African homeland. Chris Ma and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's first domestically made weather satellite is now orbiting the planet. That's after a successful launch in French Guiana.
3, 2, 1, top. Allumage P80, décollage.
The Triton satellite, also known as the Wind Hunter, is designed to predict extreme weather events. Its launch comes after nearly 10 years of work, and it's being hailed as a milestone for the country's space agency. A village in Taiwan's northeast is applying new tech to an old industry. And as Bryn Thomas reports, they hope drones may help bring young people back to the land.
This project in Taiwan's northeastern county of Ilan is starting to bear fruit. Farmers here are using drones to improve rice harvests. It's the culmination of a 2-year collaboration between farmers and students at a local university. In addition to increasing yields, the drones also help with crop irrigation, fertilization, and data collection. But despite the apparent benefits, the farmers needed some convincing.
那年轻人在带入一些这些科技进来的时候，有时候他们会怀疑，经过这个一个比较长期的沟通，然后去用实物的去实际的做给他们看哦。
But the project is designed to tackle a different growing problem in Taiwan, its aging population. The country is set to become a super-age society by 2025, and rural areas have been particularly affected. Using drones like these will help to make up for local labor shortages, and some also hope the opportunity to work with new technology will attract more young people into agriculture.
我们做这个机队的成立，主要还是希望年轻人能回来，在地的农民，就是2代农民，他们可以组织一个团体，然后互相支援。
Using drones also has environmental benefits, such as helping to reduce waste.
针对真正少量的缺肥的植物去实施精准施肥，然后我们达到减少20%的肥料用量。
Ilan's farmers hope the success of their drone project will till the soil for similar endeavors in the country. But for now, they're happy to be reaping the rewards for plowing new ground. Justin Wu and Bryn Thomas for TaiwanPlus.
Famous artifacts from Taipei's National Palace Museum will soon be exhibited in a southern city of Tainan. Laurel Stewart explains.
Carved from part green, part white stone, this jadeite cabbage is a Qing dynasty masterpiece, and it will soon be on display in Tainan. Normally exhibited in Taipei's National Palace Museum, the famed cabbage, along with 14 other treasures, will head to the southern city in December. The artifacts will be shown in the Tainan Art Museum as part of celebrations of the 400th anniversary of the city's founding. The National Palace exhibits about 700,000 Chinese artifacts, most of which were brought with the Chinese nationalist government when it retreated to Taiwan in 1949. While the National Palace Museum has sent its treasures on tour before, it's not a common occurrence.
到台南美术馆展出，那这一次的话，规模是最完整的一次。这的确是疫情之后一个故宫文物最大规模的一个出游或是出行。
Some more contemporary pieces will also be included. An animation version of a Song Dynasty scroll painting up the river during the Qingming Festival will also join the exhibition. And all safety precautions will be taken.
国宝是不能开玩笑的，我们每一个细节都按照故宫的要求来做，包括展示手法，包括消防安全，包括这个交通的过程。
Opening the artifacts up to other museums has sparked international interest.
2025年的话，我们会到法国的凯布朗利博物馆展览。那当然，目前还有一个计划在谈。
But for those in Tainan, the opportunity to see ancient treasures on their doorstep is certainly a reason to celebrate. Andy Schwer and Laurel Stewart for TaiwanPlus.
One of Taiwan's oldest traditional markets just got a makeover. Our reporter Reese Ayers takes a look around the new site.
Welcome to Taipei's newest and oldest market. Despite its shiny modern exterior, inside Nanman Market you'll find some of the most traditional vendors in Taiwan, like Bai Yu Jiao, the boss of King Long Jerky. She's been running a stall in Nanman with her husband for almost half a century. She's happy to finally reopen on this site after a 4-year overhaul, which saw the old structure torn down and rebuilt, fortified against earthquakes and designed for sustainability.
终于回来了，感想就是说，希望以后生意会更好，大家旧的客人会再回来这样子，这样我们就很高兴了。
Nanman has long been a staple of Taipei's vibrant market scene. drawing in shoppers since it first opened as an open-air public market during the Japanese colonial era over a century ago. It was moved indoors in the 80s, and when it was shut down in 2019 for renovations, vendors were relocated to a temporary space nearby.
This is what will greet shoppers as they arrive at the reconstructed Nanman Market. It sits beneath the new offices of Taipei's city government, and there are more than 200 vendors across 4 floors of this 12-story building. Now here you'll be able to buy everything from Chinese regional delicacies to dried snacks, noodles, pastries, and traditional ingredients.
Besides the locals, Nanman is also popular with tourists who come here to get an insight into Taiwanese cuisine.
那因为这个南门市场算是台北历史很悠久的市场，它超过100年，所以它里面有很多的老店，都是数十年的老店。哦，那特别是49年之后，有很多是从中国大陆迁来台湾的，所以特别带了很多所谓的外省美食。所以你在南门市场可以吃到很多比较偏向传统外省美食的东西。
The market also has deep ties with Taiwan's festival culture. During Lunar New Year, when families typically gather to celebrate the arrival of spring, shoppers flock to Nanman Market.
而且它有很多台湾很特别的东西，只有在这个市场买得到，尤其很多的年货，它都集中在这里，所以你过年来一趟，什么都有了。
The building may be new, upgraded, and eco-friendly, but vendors here like King Long Jerky will continue to offer traditional fare, as Nanman re-establishes itself as both a shopping landmark and a cultural space, one that honours the past as it looks ahead. Joseph Wu, Tiffany Wong, and Rees for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching TaiwanPlus News. Finally, today we leave you with images of a Hakka opera performance in northern Taiwan. I'm Betty Chen. Take care and see you next time.